Okay, I'd like to talk about navigating a hot, dry desert. And here I am in a wash in Calico Basin, and it's about 92 degrees right now. I've been out here for let's see, almost 6 hours. And having no problem whatsoever. There's a few reasons for this. One is that I brought enough water to float a boat. It'd be a small boat, 2 gallons, but 2 gallons is a lot starting out and feels very heavy. Believe me, I probably had a gallon so far, and so the weight is a lot lighter, and I'm very well hydrated. One thing about hydration, no matter what the conditions, is that you want to keep drinking. If you get to a point where your mouth feels dry, it's almost too late because you're starting to dehydrate. So you want to keep drinking, you want to keep that moist feeling in your mouth. And let's see, one other thing is you definitely want to have headgear. And let me show you what I'm wearing. Okay, here is an example of my headgear, and you can see that it's a Climacool or very light running cap with a long bill, and underneath I just have a piece that I cut off of a t-shirt, stretches down over my shoulders, and it makes it so it feels like I'm in the shade the whole time of the experience here. And another thing you could probably see from my coloring, that I'm not Northern European pasty white, and if I were, there would be some real sun danger. But actually, I have a quarter Mediterranean in my blood, and that gives me a bit of a tan color for my skin, which makes it so it's less susceptible to sunburn and skin cancer. So anyway, you've got the moral of the story there is that you need to cover yourself accordingly based on your skin type. And if you're much lighter skin, you're going to need to probably be wearing a t-shirt, maybe even a long sleeve t-shirt. White reflects the sunlight, and that may be the way you need to go. If you're a little darker skinned like I am, you can get away with having less on. I have just a tank top, and but you know, even with that, I work my way up to it. I don't come out for the very first time in the summer and expose my skin to this type of condition, but I work my way up to it. Once I get a good coat of tan, then I can loosen up a little bit. So I would say, yeah, and another thing, signs of dehydration. If you begin to have a headache, that could be a sign of dehydration. Dizziness is a sign of dehydration. So you want to be aware of what your limitations are. Don't just take a, you know, this trip is going to probably be an 8-hour trip through the desert. and 3 of those hours is going to be in 92-degree weather, which I'm facing now. On the way, and when I started out, it was 70 degrees, and then I was ascending. I actually ascended up into that cliff area, and so I was up at about 6,200 feet. I'm at 5,300 right now, so I've descended nearly 1,000 feet. But as I ascended in the morning, I was experiencing a pretty steady 72 degrees. It's only now that I'm exposing myself for the last 3 hours to the 92 degrees. And so I don't know if I do this, 8 hours in this kind of condition, but 3 hours I can handle. So it's about knowing your limitations and observing just a few basic rules of lots of water, head covering, cover your skin appropriately based on your skin type, and just watch for signs of dehydration. I'm actually having a very good day. Could not feel better right now. And so, that comes from just proactively keeping track of my body conditions and taking steps accordingly to maintain a good equilibrium, which means good even temperature. It means keeping the moisture in my mouth, which shows that I'm not dehydrating, and that's pretty much it. So have fun traveling in hot desert conditions, but just be aware, if it were 110 degrees, the story might be entirely different, and maybe I wouldn't be out here. I don't know. May have to work up to that too, but maybe I don't want to. We'll see. Anyway, that's the story. So enjoy the desert. Okay, signing off. One more quick note. Coming up the backside of Turtlehead Peak in 92-degree weather, there are a couple things that enabled me to do that. One is my conditioning makes it so that I'm not really exerting myself all that much. And then I put myself in slow motion. I believe I can actually slow down my metabolism. So, it takes some practice, but there are ways to make that happen. You can do it. Just don't go out there and try unless you work your way up to it. Okay, signing off.